Hello, and welcome back to the Start and Succeed Show with me, Kelly Brammer. I'm your podcast host, and this podcast is all about helping you build a life and a business that you actually love waking up to. Now, I'm really excited to talk to you today about something that's been coming up a lot in conversations lately. So, I want to ask you a question, and I want you to sit with it for just a second. I want you to think about, are you leading? Or are you just managing? Now, it's a big question, and you may not necessarily know the difference between leading and managing, but that's why I'm here today talking to you about this topic, because when we can lead from the front, when we can get people on board with us and take them on a journey, we can influence people on a whole different level. But if you're just managing things, you're not necessarily getting the same level of influence. But I'll talk more about that in this session. So, as I say, if you sit with that question, are you leading or are you managing? It might be quite difficult to actually understand which one you sit with more. Because when we're in the thick of it, when we're juggling things, responsibilities, we're chasing revenue goals, we're hiring people, we're firing people, we're planning, we're strategizing, we're putting out fires, it's easy to feel like we're in charge. But the real question is, what are we actually leading, not managing? Now let's unpack this a little bit. Let's look at the difference between managing and leading. Well, managing is about control. It's about schedules, checklists, rosters, meetings, tasks, structure. And it's important. We all need really solid management skills to run a business or to lead a team. But it's also quite a reactive process because it focuses on what's directly in front of you. Now, if we think about leadership, leading is all about clarity, about vision, and about direction. So it's about who you're becoming and how you're helping other people to grow along that way. So rather than being reactive, it's proactive. And most importantly, it's human. It's within our human nature to want to lead and develop ourselves and other people. And it invites others to buy into something that's bigger than just day-to-day tasks. So here's a quick example that might help you make that differentiation. Now, a manager might say, let's make sure this project gets done on time. Now, a leader, they might say something like, let's make sure that this project actually helps us grow into the brand that we want to be. Now, can you see that shift? Managing is about the what, but leading is about the why and then about the who. And when you start making decisions from that place, as I say, that's when things really start to change for you, for your business, for your career, for the team that you're leading and the people that you're leading as well. But what happens when we don't lead with intention? Now, this is something that I do see all of the time, especially in high-achieving business owners and ambitious leaders who really care quite deeply about their impact. Now, they may have built the business, they've got the systems in place, the team is growing, and from the outside, it looks like everything's working. But on the inside, they're feeling exhausted, they're feeling disconnected to what is actually going on. They're stuck in this cycle of doing, fixing, responding. They're kind of on a hamster wheel, but they're not growing. And that's because without intention, you're just reacting. And reaction mode kills momentum. It also depletes confidence because you're always second guessing, always chasing clarity because you don't feel like you actually have it. Now that might sound for some people, why does it feel like I'm working harder, but I'm actually getting less traction? I'm not moving forward as I expected to be. Or it might be that I can't even remember why I even started this in the first place. Or it may be that everyone looks at me for direction, but I really don't feel clear myself. Now that might sound familiar to you, and if it does, you're not alone. A lot of people are in this process where they switch from leading to managing and don't really realize that shift. And they don't realize what impact that's having on them, their business, their career, their brand, their team. So it's about becoming aware. And I talk about awareness a lot in these podcast episodes because the more aware we can be, both of what's going on with ourselves, but also with others and situations, the more opportunity we've got to actually make tweaks and changes. So why does intentional leadership change everything? Why does it make things so much better? Well, intentional leadership is when you take a step back and you ask yourself, what do you actually want your business to feel like? Who are you becoming through this process and through the work that you do? And how can you create more space for purpose in your life and in your business instead of pressure? So when you lead with that intention, you create alignment. And that alignment is between your goals, and your actions. And what might happen as a result of that is your team, if you have one, starts operating from a shared value, not just from instruction. Everybody is on the same page. They're aiming for the same goals, for the same vision. So everybody's working in tandem with one another. And you feel more in control because you've let go of needing to control everything. And it's not about being perfect. Perfect is something that a lot of people strive for, but a lot of the time, perfect can't be reached because we're always trying to get better and better and improve things. So when do we feel that life is perfect? Now, from my perspective, it's more about becoming present than about becoming perfect. And present means being present to your vision, the vision for your future, for the future of your team, for the future of your business. It's also about being present when it comes to your values. So what values are important to you? And what is important to you in terms of your people? So showing up with your team, with those around you, with your audience, and being present. And that might mean something very, very simple, like putting your phone down when you're having a conversation with somebody, so that you're giving them that time and they understand that, yes, you might be busy, you might be an important person with lots of things to do, but you are taking the time because you value them, you value their opinions. Now, honestly, the more intention that you can bring to your leadership, the easier your decisions are going to become, because it clarifies everything. And clarity simplifies life. It simplifies business. It simplifies decisions. Now, I want to give you just a moment here to check in with yourself. If you've got the time right now, if not, come back to this and just pause and maybe get yourself a pen and paper so that you can write down some notes. Now, I want you to, first of all, just close your eyes. If you're not driving, of course, or doing anything that means that you can't close your eyes. So I want you to close your eyes. And I want you to ask yourself, where am I managing right now where I could actually be leading? Is it in how you start your mornings? Is it how you run meetings with your team, or how you handle feedback or uncertainty in your life or in your business? What would it look like for you to bring just a 10%, let's say, more intention into your day? Now, that might be reconnecting with your values before you set your to-do list for the day. Maybe it's pausing before saying yes to something, so that you can assess whether or not that something is aligned with your vision, with your values. Or maybe it's asking your team and those around you what support they need, not just asking them to do tasks when tasks are due to be done. Now, these small shifts really can lead to massive clarity for you, for your business, for your team. Now, this journey of intentional leadership, it's an ongoing process. It's not about fixing anything. It's not about fixing yourself. It's about coming back home to yourself and leading from that place of authenticity. And if you've been feeling like something's off or your energy's a bit flat, even though the business is growing, or if you're craving maybe a deeper alignment and clearer purpose, this is your sign to start leading, not just managing. So I'm going to be sharing more over the coming weeks on this topic because in terms of life as a human, but also in business and in careers and in relationships, leadership is important, and it's knowing when to step forward into that leadership position and doing that intentionally. Because if you can step forward in your power with purpose, with passion and clarity, knowing what you're trying to deliver, where you're trying to get to, not only are you clearer yourself, but those around you will be as well. Now, here's my invitation to you before I close out this episode, and that's this week. Take just one area of your life or your business and approach it as a leader, not a manager. So lead with curiosity, lead with clarity, lead with connection. Because when you lead with intention, and that's what all of this is about, you lead others better. You build something that is real and authentic, and you feel better for doing it as well. Now that's it for today's episode. If this has sparked something for you, please feel free to share this, put it on your social media, tag me in at Start and Succeed. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I'd love to share as well, and just celebrate people actually taking the time to work on themselves. And if you feel that this might be useful for somebody in your life, please feel free to share this with them, because the more people that I can help, and I do say this a lot, but the more people that I can help improve their lives, feel better about themselves, act intentionally and authentically, then I'm doing an amazing job, and so are they. And that's what I'm here for. So if you're enjoying this space, hit the follow or subscribe button. I'd love for you to come back and listen to more episodes, and I don't want you to miss out. But until next time, keep showing up with purpose, keep growing, and keep leading with heart. As I say, leading with intention, having that clarity, showing up authentically can really be that transformative action that you need in your life or your business.